this is tape 2, and I'm going to put Affordable Corporate Suites, because right now, if you care to go back to the tape I just did, that's what I'm going to title it, Affordable Corporate Suites, Mind Control Murders. This is where I was. Carl Barton, which was the name of the Virginia State Trooper. And I'm going to have to let you put the two tapes together. I mean, I can't do another tape and try to tell you how this fits together, or it would just take up the time, all the time on the video, and I couldn't do it. When I lived at, well, I've been run because my immune system shuts down. It attacks itself if I'm around chemicals. I'm allergic to chemicals. And they have actually, I wrote a book about mind control. Let me say that I have to give a little background on it. In 77, 78, Larry Flint was shot next door in Lawrenceville, and that was about 45 miles from Marietta when I was doing the book, and the guy was programmed to shoot him. Later, I was flown to Larry Flint's during a political campaign in 83 when Larry McDonald, the doctor congressman I wrote about, his plane went down, shot down by the Soviets because it veered into their airspace. It was en route from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea. So I'm getting soaked here with chemicals too. But I want to go back to here. I was up on Roanoke Mountain, and that's a park, and I was tented up there legally, and National Park Service runs it. And Carl Barton, and Carl's the name of the twin, and that's been used in the names used in the mind control murders. And his wife Linda was there, and during the night, my tent was soaked with chemicals. Well, it wasn't chemicals, it was fuel. And I came out of there about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I had to sit at a picnic table all night long. The next day, it looks like they're doing me a favor. Carl Barton, and the retired Virginia State Trooper, had his wife, Linda, brought me down, and she insisted I go here. And I didn't have quite enough money to go there, and she paid the deposit, $150, with a credit card, so it's easy to go back and prove. And I lived there for 17 months being soaked in chemicals, and it taking out my liver and kidneys and every lungs, every part of your body. It deteriorates, and I had to take medicine for inflammation, etc., etc. So his wife, Linda, before she left, I started to hug her because I thought, well, she's paid that, she's being nice. And here's her words: "This is how we run you. We move you with chemicals." Well, I knew that they were using chemicals on me everywhere I lived, and you can't go to the law enforcement. They're the ones telling them to do it. And I can't get an attorney, so I'm left, what do you do? So I thought later, I thought back about what Linda had said, and she said, by the way, she said, we're Americans, we're above the law. Now, Linda's, I thought about what she said, and I knew they run me by chemicals, but I thought later, well, it's kind of weird in the middle of the night, I get fuel up here, soaked in fuel on my tent, which is what caused me to have to come to Affordable. But I want to get to Affordable. There was a nursery school called Bear. I'd have to go back. I've had all this. But it's easy if somebody wants to check it out. It was right next to these apartments. It was right next to it. Only I think the address was Starkey, the way it's laid out there. So you got Starkey is Ringo Starr's last name. Now then, there was murders done at in conjunction there with a daycare center, and I think their name was Snyder or something. I've forgotten whether the wife and the boyfriend was supposed to have killed her husband at a daycare center. So I can't get into all of it. I've done it over the years. And real quick, and this one's going to go out before I get to this, I want to go into Bishop. By the way, well, I'm not even going to get into who prescribed the medicine because people don't want to hear this. And they should. The right people that hear it know, and the rest of them tune it out. Bishop was the the nurse practitioner that just gave me the medicine for the shingles. And I've never seen her before or been to her. Well, excuse me, I think I did glimpse her once, but it was kind of weird. But Bishop is the name of Amy, who was a professor at the University of Alabama in Huntsville, who shot 3 of her coworkers and killed them one morning, and she's in prison now. And by the way, she was from Boston, and later they accused her of killing her brother there in Boston. That's just where the bombing thing's going on now. But I talked with her attorney, Miller, later, and I was telling him that was a mind control murder. And he said, I worked with you at the district attorney's office briefly. And he sounded like he was going to talk to me and maybe try to prosecute it and use mine because the woman, Amy Bishop's under mind control, and she's a victim herself. I got a phone call back on my other phone 10 minutes later, and somebody had called him and gotten to him. So now then back to, and you have to know what was going on with me, and to go back to the Amy Bishop and all that also. But this was just where I paid the rent and all that at Affordable Overland. Now I'm trying to connect it for people. I just sent or did videos and tried to tell about the guy that up at the shootings in the Jewish, supposed to be connected to the Jewish. He killed 3 there, a retirement home in Kansas, and it was Overland, Kansas, I believe. And the man's name was Glenn Miller. Now then, they're saying this morning that he had ties to Galax. It's really Hillsville's a few miles away from Galax. And Galax is where the Carl Barton and his wife lived that told me they run me with chemicals. He's a retired Virginia State Trooper. Now then, this guy that did the shootings in Overland, Kansas, they're saying now, has ties back to where he was arrested by the marshals and all that. Hillsville, which is 11 miles from where Carl Barton, the state trooper, that told me they run me with chemicals. Now then, just a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3, in Galax, where the Hillsville, the same place, they had this, they were killing because there's 25 in it, and I don't know if any died, but they were all really rushed to Duke University and all, to Roanoke, because of air conditioning. They put air conditioning, the wrong freezing in it, and it was a produce company in Hillsville. It's just a few miles, 11 miles from Galax and Carl Barton, and I'm trying to connect it for you. It's almost like instant messaging, only they're using mind control. And this is the Tucson, Arizona, and the Virginia Tech, and there's a lot more at Virginia Tech, and this is going to go out in the next few minutes. So I guess that's all I can say right now, other than I am going to say this one is connected here. This is Timothy McVeigh, who actually told you that the military put a chip up his rear, and he was killed. And this is what the Aurora, Colorado, James Holmes, they're trying to say that mind control has nothing to do with mental illness. So Timothy McVeigh was put to death, and he's a victim. Mind control, I'll say it again, has nothing to do with mental illness. And the mental illness and psychiatry is what they're trying to blame all this on. Mind control is a murder weapon that's being used, and it's mass. when they can do it in patterns and deliberately do it,